Hi, I'm Dave Sweet, and thank you for joining me today. In our last episode, we had met with the land surveyor and walked the property and talked about some of the terminologies and stuff. As you can see, a lot has changed since then. You know, we were able to clear out all the trees, we had the stumps removed, and then we pushed back all the topsoil and dug a hole for the foundation. So today we're going to meet with Mike Evangelisti, the contractor that's installing the foundation here and digging the hole, and talk about all the things related to that next step, you know, getting a very important part in the foundation. So let's talk to Mike.
Hey,
Mike.
Dave. How are you?
Good.
Oh,
Working hard as usual, huh?
yes. Good to see you again.
Right.
Yeah.
The other day you were doing the form still like dark, huh?
Yeah, well, hey, winter's knocking on the door, and we're trying to beat the cold so we can sit inside and relax this winter.
Right. Well, thanks for taking the time out. I didn't mean to pull you off the machine here and keep going on that, but you know, everybody kind of wants to know what's going on with the project and what's happening and stuff. And, you know, a lot of people want to know what's involved in doing all the site work here. But, you know, for me, you're one-stop shopping. You seem to do it all between excavation, foundation, septic, and I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of other stuff in there, grading, you know.
Well, early in my career, I learned that from my father's business as well, is you try to make it as simplistic as you can for the people. The less people you have to deal with, the easier it is for the homeowner. Okay, and it's easier to communicate between less people, okay? So there's less chance for error going on the job. Not that there is error, but you minimize that. And we get done quicker because we don't have to depend on other people to do that work. So we take from the ground up to the anchor bolts, and from there we hand the project over to another person, the carpenter.
Well, that's good. And that way I'm not relying on somebody else or somebody's goof up, they dug it too deep or this or that. Or,
which is a common problem we run into because we also do other work for other people and the hole is too tight. Obviously you can see we have maximum room for workability, but also for safety issues, which a lot of people, you know, when they bid a job, they bid it to a point where I'm only going to give you maybe a foot or two on the outside, and then you have a safety issue.
Oh yeah,
so
a little collapsing or something.
Right. Yep. So with that in mind, we try to give ourselves enough working room in case something does happen. You have a protected area.
You know, I always kid everybody. You know, it all starts with the foundation and really the footings. If you want to start to say that, if we're not level or material or other things, a lot can go wrong, huh?
Well, it carries from the bottom to the top. And if you don't start at the bottom right, chances are everything else follows, okay? I'm not saying it always happens, but generally it does. You can see the site is well graded. You try to keep everything uniform. Instead of having 6 inches of concrete on one end and 2 feet at the other on the footing, you don't have proper compression. And I believe keeping it uniform, and it's always proven to be right, especially when you get to your slabs, because they expand and contract and they need to do it evenly, okay? So they don't pull underneath from unevenness. And of course, a level foundation makes for easy working for the carpenter.
Yeah, exactly.
You
square,
know,
level, all those kind of things.
Yes, try to achieve the 3 things, plumb, level, and square.
There you go.
Okay.
Usually you only get 2, not all 3, with other guys. I'm not saying
No. I understand that, but you always shoot for the best.
Yeah.
And, you know, the key to anything is trying. Never say good enough.
Right.
You always try to do the best you can.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've been in business, our family's been in business since 1942. My brother Ray, my son Cameron, and I, and my father. It's always been a family business.
So Mike, you know, the reason why I use you so much, you're so professional. Exactly. You know, I don't have to babysit or micromanage. You know how swales and everything else, soil conditions, all that. And over here, case in point, you gave me a call the other day saying, hey, Dave, the soil isn't up to snuff. What was up with that? Was that over here at the front?
Yeah, actually, what happens is because of the slope of the land and the position of the house from front to, or back to front, the soils change and you can see the profile, okay?
Yep.
And when you get down to this end of the house, you're into the subsoil layer, not into the gravelly, sandy, more stable material. So you don't have to worry about the frost heaving it and whatnot. So as you get down to this end, you need to have your separation distance of the 42 inches and be on good bearing soil. So we were going to use tubes, and then we said, you know what, you needed the Bigfoots or something like that, and it wasn't going to be suitable on that soil at that height. So we encompassed the footing for that into the main footing and carried it out with the rebar. So it's continual, so it'll support the whole front of your house.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
which
So-
is important.
So you get your foot on this. What is this right here?
Okay, that's our footing. Within the footing, we used 5/8 grade 60 rebar on recycled material. It's a natural steel bar, and we put double rows in there to create a grade beam to support the upper part of the foundation. Plus, I mean, the soil was stable, but like over there, we had a wet spot from the rain. Okay, so it'll carry and support, and it'll bridge across those spots.
Okay, so the rebar really helps lock it all together as one unit. Like you
Right.
said, grade beam, that's a
Yeah.
perfect description. Cause
Yes, it is. It is a grade beam.
Yeah.
And of course, being 2 feet wide, 1 foot thick, it's very strong. And yesterday we poured before the rain, so while it rained, it was hydrating the material, so it actually helped it.
Yeah.
Heat
Slower.
Right. Heat is not your friend. They're actually finding that concrete cures better at a cooler temperature, less shrinkage, less crackage.
Yeah, okay. And what are you doing here with this pipe? What is
Okay,
this?
so what we're trying to achieve here is catch the water and get it to drain out of here. We put cross drains on the front side because of the topo of the land,
Okay, so
nothing
it
on the
slopes from
back,
back to front. Yeah.
because
okay.
we don't want the water entering, okay? So we're sheeting it across the back. Anything interior, we're putting across the front. We'll put 2 basins on that side, one in the wet spot. Apparently we've picked up some sort of spring there
Okay,
last
yeah, I
night.
see, yeah.
Okay, which would tell me that ledge is probably pretty close. Okay, and then we'll put one in the backside to catch over there, and then you'll have an outside pump there, and then anything that comes up will catch into these drains, plus crushed stone to here, depending on what type of foam
Okay.
you're going to use for your floor,
Right,
which
right.
we'll get into that discussion later,
Right.
and whether it's 1 inch, 2 inch, or the bubble wrap. And then we'll fill this all with stone. Perimeter drain on the outside to daylight, so it'll all tie in. So you'll have 2 pump pits and daylight drain.
Yeah, I've been lucky, you know, that I've been working with Mike for so long, and as I say, it's so professional, and he
Thank
just
you.
takes care and manages everything, you know, from water issues to swales to, you know, things to look out for. I turn this over to Mike. What would somebody, any recommendations or things to look
Okay.
for when we do hire a contractor
Okay.
to site work,
It's-
foundation?
It's a tough thing, even for myself when I hire people to work at my own home. Basically, word of mouth is always good. A good friend that has had somebody that has had good results with a person more than once. And what I would do is always check with your Better Business Bureau. Your Connecticut has, for our state, a Consumer Protection Department to see if there's any records or violations.
Oh, yeah.
And your local building official is always good. Doesn't mean everybody's perfect, but usually if you have a good friend who's had good results with somebody and their equipment looks decent, it doesn't have to be brand new all the time, and the gentleman is, you know, knowledgeable of all aspects, and if something doesn't seem right, always go with your gut feeling, okay? And if it sounds fishy, it probably is, and if it's too good of a deal, it probably is.
Right, right, right.
Okay.
There's a cost basis, and you can only take so much out of it, you know?
Right, and you want to always check the finished product with somebody else of what they had to see if it's acceptable what you think is a finished
Yeah,
product.
Right, right.
Okay, just because you may think that this is great, somebody else may not.
Right.
So you always check the finished product, or you know, stop by another job that they're performing at the same time and see if it's the same caliber being performed.
Right.
Generally, don't jump into something that sounds too good to be true.
Well, thank you, Mike. I really
Yes,
appreciate
back to
your
work.
time, and yeah, keep going on there. Let's get that stone in and
You can
footing
go back
drains
to
in.
work, and I can go back to
Right,
work.
right. Yeah, I
Good.
miss the old days of being out here and doing construction.
You'll get your chance.
Yeah.
I'll make
So-
sure you get your chance.
All right.
Thanks,
Well,
Dave.
good. Thanks again, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Well, that was great. Mike gave us a lot of information there related to the foundation, excavation, and things we look for in that site work there. And some tidbits there, what to look for if you're hiring a contractor or doing some things. So, hey, I really appreciate it. Stay tuned. We got some more information coming. Next episode, we're going to meet with the builder, Bill Zidane of Zidane Builders. He's got a project going on in Westbrook, Connecticut, and we'll go over and visit that and learn some stuff and technique that he has over there. So please stay tuned.